this video, I go through 3 ways where you can use to build wealth for financial freedom and retire early. Hi, before we start, hi, I'm Felicia, retired early. And for my corporate job as a qualified actuary, now I live a life of financial peace. I'm a mum of 4. I share in this channel my knowledge about mindset, making money and building wealth for now and for the future. In today's video, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of 3 different ways where you can find ways to build wealth for financial independence. Before we start, you need to a goal. You need to start with the end in mind, as Stephen Covey talks about in his book, 7 Habits of Successful People, which you'll leave a link below. Brilliant book about mindset and being successful. So you need to define what you need, what goal you need, and that will differ from different people. And Ceramics talks about our rich life differs from one to the other. Why I consider it's important in my life, in my retirement life, will be different from yours. So you set up a goal, and then that's what you aim. That'll be the signpost for you to aim for to get your end goal of financial independence. So one way, let's start with the first one. One way of doing that is through the stock market. And the pros and cons of that is the cons are it's easy to start. You need a small amount of money, and you can learn about stock market investment. And in fact, I do workshops on this, how to get started with your first 100 quid to start the ball rolling. And the downside, cons of investing in the stock market is get educated first, otherwise you can lose a lot of money. And so financial education in the stock market is important because it does go up and down and there's a lot of volatility. And I don't want you to be losing your money. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just here to pass on what my experience and knowledge about stock market investment is all about. So because it's very volatile, you need to know what you're doing before you even get in there. Otherwise you can lose a lot of money. And the thing also, the pro is that it's very passive as well. So once you're building your wealth to financial independence, stock market investment is very passive. And it's also when you're in retirement, it's very passive as well. That's one thing to consider. Now I move on to the other way of getting into financial peace, and that's through property or real estate. I start with the pros and cons again. I'll talk through the pros and cons. With property, you do need more capital to start off, but you can also use bank leverage. So you put in down deposit and you get borrow rest from the bank. So you use a lot of the bank's money to help create your wealth. The thing with property, it's not passive. It does take a lot of effort, and in sourcing it, finding it, going through conveyancing, and then even having tenants in there. And there's pros and cons. You may have void periods. There's always maintenance to be done. So it's not totally passive, but in the UK, because we live on an island, over the long term, property does seem to go up in value. So that's, and also it's got different uses, like the way I've done property for my retirement was to buy and hold. And basically it was very passive. Or you can run it as an Airbnb, and that of course takes more operational stuff because nights people come in for a few days a week or so, you've got changes to the beddings and everything, and that's more active, but it's still money pumped into real estate. And the third way of building wealth for your retirement is to set up a business. And the trick is, the secret sauce is to set the business as passively as possible. So you work really hard initially setting it all up, and then the aim is to have it as passive as possible. And so the cons with that is like your income may be very volatile. You work very long hours initially setting it up, and it may not be successful because a lot of small businesses do fail. So, but if it does do well, when you sell it, that would be capital injection into your fund to create a fund, and that can be invested into the stock market. So those are 3 ways to create wealth, and in order to help you to retire early: stock market, property, real estate, and set up a business that's as passive as possible. So how have I done it? My secret way, or my secret sauce, was to start early, and a lot of things time did the rest, compounding. So I bought my first property in my early 20s, like 6 months after university. And that holding that has gone up over the years. And every few years, when the market appreciation's gone up, I've managed to release the equity and buy another property, and so on. And also, very late on, I've decided to invest in the stock market through ISAs, individual savings account. They're very tax efficient. So the money goes from post-tax income, goes into the stock exchange ISA, and that will grow tax-free throughout. And when I draw it at the end, it's no tax to be paid because the tax is paid at the beginning because it comes out post-tax income. And in fact, The Psychology of Money, a book by Morgan Housel, talks about the impact when you dip your toes into the stock market, whether you're successful or not successful, would impact the rest of your journey, potentially impact your attitude towards stock market investment. And so that's what actually happened to me when I first started into stock market investment many years ago. I didn't really get educated and I lost a lot of money because I invested in individual companies that went up, and then it went down. So, because that happened, I was out the stock market for about 15 years and I've just pulled my resources, my savings, invested in property. But again, The Psychology of Money, the amazing book, talks about that happening, that if you have a good run, you'll carry on investing in the stock market. But if you go in there with uneducated and you lose a lot of money, then you then shy away. So it's always good to first of all, get educated. I run workshops on this, and where I open up my portfolio, I talk about what I've done, where I've gone wrong in the past, so you don't have to make the same mistakes. And also because my professional background is pension, I do workshops on pension so that I teach people how to maximize their pension. It's more educational because I'm not a financial advisor. But if you can I give people the confidence to understand their pensions and how to maximize that. So just to hope you found this useful. If you did, please comment below. I'd love to see what you found useful, which one would you use to get to a place of financial peace. And comment below, subscribe, and share this if you think it's useful for your friends and family. Thanks for listening.